Hello again, this is Dan, back with another Book of the Week review. This week we're reviewing the title, The Little Money Bible by Stuart Wilde, The 10 Laws of Abundance, which is a little book that I found a couple of weeks ago. It's usually found in the spirituality section of your bookstore. However, it is sort of in between like a self-help money book and also delves into like the spiritual realm of things. So it's kind of an interesting title and one I wanted to share with you this week as something a little bit different. Now, some of you might have seen my review I did of Stuart Wilde's other book, which is called Silent Power, which is quite a good book to check out if you're into motivational ideas and also spirituality and looking at the bigger sense of who you are as a person. Pretty cool book. And this book kind of travels along the same path. Stuart Wilde, as we've talked about before, he's a real mystic. He's someone who kind of thinks outside the box, and if you check out on YouTube, there's a lot of videos of Stuart Wilde talking, and you'll see what I mean when you check out his videos. Pretty cool guy and a very unique kind of soul. So anyway, the 10 laws of abundance that he talks about here, I'm not going to go through every single one, but I wanted to share a couple of them with you today, just because I think there's some really cool ideas in here that can help you to change your mindset around money and also see it maybe from a more spiritual perspective, which is what this book is very valuable in helping you achieve. So let's go through a couple of them and see what you think. The first couple of chapters of this book talk about abundance. Now, if you've read anything like The Secret or different, manifestation, affirmation type books that are out there, you've probably read a lot about abundant thinking in the way that you can kind of channel your thinking in a way that creates a more abundant attitude and attracts things to you. Now, whether you believe in that type of thing or not, I'll leave up to you, but it's a pretty interesting idea. It's something that if you start to think in a way where there's, enough to go round and that you're not living out of a place of lack, you'll probably find that life goes a little bit better. You don't feel as desperate, you don't feel as needy a lot of the time. So it's something that's worth exploring. And what I like in this book is the way that Stuart talks about abundance as being a natural part of life, a natural part of nature. And he explains things, if you look around at, nature in terms of, plants and animals and trees, and there's always plenty to go around. There's enough for animals to eat, there's enough, water and air for trees and plants to grow, and the abundance is the natural order of things. And he believes it's the same in people. And what we tend to do as a society is program ourselves the wrong way to believe that everything's scarce and that we have to fight for everything we get. So he tries to sort of debunk that myth by saying, if you look around you, there's plenty of wealth and opulence and abundance already, and you can be part of that. You can own that in terms of your own sort of spiritual sense and also as a person. But you first have to believe that the world is an abundant place, that other people are out to help you and to give to you, and from there you can actually start to build a better life for yourself. The next idea is the idea of money and distance. Now, when I first read this, I didn't really get it, but the idea is that we very often place a distance between ourselves and the success that we want in life. So, for instance, you might see people out there, with a nice car or a nice home or having sort of a nice holiday, having exciting things happen to them, and you're thinking, why aren't I part of that? Why am I always sort of separate or detached from that, that kind of lifestyle? You might wonder how those people got to that position in life. Well, what he says is that we unconsciously basically put ourselves in that mindset. We are the ones who choose to distance ourselves from the wealth and the financial success and the abundance that's out there. So we have to consciously, when we see someone or something that we want, whether it's a nice home or a nice car or whatever it is, we have to consciously think of ourselves as being a part of that, as being closer to that, and slowly over time we will naturally attract that towards us. Now again, if you believe in this type of thing, the law of attraction, affirmations, that type of thing, that'll probably be right up your alley. If you don't, it might make you a little bit cynical and think, yeah, right, I just kind of imagine things and suddenly, they all appear, or I feel like I'm close to success and wealth and it works. We're not sort of saying that. What he's saying is that if you consciously choose to be closer to things that are abundant and that are successful, you tend to be more open to opportunities. You'll tend to relate to people, who are at that higher level of success. And as you probably know, who you hang around tends to rub off on you. So if you're always avoiding or distancing yourself from success, thinking that, people out there who have success or wealth or luxury or whatever are different to you, you're going to unconsciously move away from them. So what he's saying is to actually close the distance consciously, move yourself closer to success and wealth and abundance by saying, I'm a part of that, I belong to that, and that belongs to me. Very interesting idea, something that I've been trying in my own life, and I tell you what, it does have an effect. Try it out for yourself. The next idea he talks about is the idea of creating value. Now, you've probably heard this before if you've read any business books or marketing books or whatever. They always talk about the idea of creating value for customers, etc., etc. But when you get down to it, that is essentially what we're trying to do in any kind of work we do. We're trying to create a sense of value for whoever it is we're serving. So when you think about it on a larger scale in life, essentially when we all go out to work every day and earn money, what we're doing is creating value for other people. So when you think about life in this way, it makes it much easier for you to travel to the source of wealth, which is the more value you can create, the more value will come back to you in the form of financial success, money, whatever it is for you. You'll basically make more for yourself by giving more out. So pretty simple idea, but very valuable. Now, obviously, we sometimes don't know how to create value. You might be in a job or a career where you think, well, how the hell do I create value from where I am? But there usually is small ways that you can add service, you can add quality. And one of the great ways that I know to do this is something I learned many years ago from Earl Nightingale, who says that if you can sit down each day and actually write down a list of ideas of things you could do to improve your service today, whether to your customers or your boss or your co-workers, some way that you can improve the level of service that you give, the quality of what you're doing, you'll find that that adds value. And over time, the more value that you stack into the life of other people, so the more value you create for the world out there, the more it revolves back to you, the more it starts to flow back. It can't help itself. Now, any of you out there who've tried this probably know exactly what I'm saying. The more value you give out, the more you get back. So it's a great idea to try out. The final idea that I wanted to share from this book is something called the law of concentration, or the art of concentrating, if you like. Now, what is concentration? Concentration is focus. It's a kind of a honing of your attention into one thing or one place. Now, this is discussed in a lot of different books. It's not just in this book by Stuart. I know Napoleon Hill talks a lot about this in The Law of Success, those type of books. The idea of concentrating onto something and actually forcing your talents and your effort into something build success. Now, what Stuart says is that concentration is a form of love. And the way he describes it is if we really love someone and we care about them, we'll actually concentrate our effort and our time and our energy into that person, into that relationship. Well, it's exactly the same with our work and anything that we do in our lives. So if you can concentrate effort and energy into something that you're passionate about, that you feel is worthwhile, you'll find that it actually starts to grow you success over time. And this is one of the real keys to success in anything that you do. Nobody I know actually achieves anything worthwhile without first concentrating a lot of effort and energy and time into that career or that particular area of their life. So that's just a couple of ideas from this book. I hope that's given you a couple of insights to think about. The Little Money Bible by Stuart Wilde, well worth checking out when you have some time.